order here. It says bathroom renovation.
That is your husband's signature at the bottom, right?
Get
What did I do?
out of my house.
You better get used to this face.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Katie Afraidy on the Fangoria Network. I'm your host, Katie Hettenbach, and I'm editing, and I forgot to film an intro, so you're getting this. I'm so sorry. And I can't turn off the air because it's so hot. It's so warm in my apartment. That's okay. But guys, I'm so excited to introduce this movie to you guys. It's called Clawfoot, and I interviewed director Michael Day. Here's that interview. Guys, I'm so excited to have Clawfoot's director, Michael Day, on with me today. Hi, Michael.
Hey, excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for agreeing to come on after your hundreds of billions of interviews.
Yeah, there's so many. I lost count.
There's so many. So, Clawfoot, I got an email. Hey, do you want to watch this movie? Literally didn't even watch. I initially didn't watch the trailer. I just saw a clip of it and I was like, done. I don't know what it is. I'm going to watch it. And I had so much fun.
Awesome. Oh, I love hearing that.
So much fun. So much fun. So tell us a little bit about Clawfoot.
Yeah. So, it's just a fun little dark comedy, domestic thriller. It's a lot of genres mixed in with some bloodiness too. And and it's just about this, what appears to be a stay-at-home trophy wife, just kind of going about her day until a mysterious man shows up to install a clawfoot tub, that he has all the paperwork. And so after, some back and forth, she, not smart. Yeah, she lets him in even though she probably shouldn't. But then as things progress, you start to realize as layers get revealed, like, oh, well, she has something going on herself. So you start to make all the connections. And it's just a fun little wild ride about just this little contained movie about these two characters in a house, basically.
Yes. And it gets wild. And I didn't know where it was going. I mean, I had a feeling because, again, I watched the trailer. So I was like, I know murder's going to happen, but I was like, I don't know when.
It's definitely murder.
All right. And I also believe in spoilers because I think they're fun. So spoilers, if you don't want to skip ahead 30 seconds, so we find. But I didn't realize like no murder happens till at least like halfway through, which I was like, when is it going to happen? I was like, when is she going to go? When's she going to
snap?
And then she did. And I was like, that's awesome. But you get those little like, what would you call them? Like the little...
We've been calling them fantasy kills.
Okay, yeah, fantasy kills. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, wait, not real. In her head. Oh, she's crazy. Oh, she's crazy. Got it. Love it.
Oh, she's batshit crazy.
She's really her friend is crazy too.
Yeah.
Awesome. And she's a lawyer. Great. Always good to have friends that are crazy and who are lawyers.
Exactly.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So what attracted you to the script?
Yeah, I mean, it was just I just loved how it just the twist in the middle. All of a sudden, like it's one movie, then it's a complete different movie. And I just love all the dialogue. The dialogue's super witty and dry. And I'm also just a fan. I'm just like now just like bullet points my favorite. And like I'm just a fan of like when you find it, like I read a lot of contained scripts for like low budget stuff. Mm-hmm. And they all get very repetitive and it kind of gets boring. You're like, okay, what are we doing here? It just kind of goes over and over again and goes in circles. But this one, it never felt like recycled material. It never felt like we were redoing the same scene. It just kind of felt like it just constantly just kept moving forward, even though we were in the same location with the same characters. And it just had a rhythm and a pace to it that just like I couldn't put the script down. I was like, there's something really interesting about this. And this to me is one of the best contained scripts I've ever read. I think it just keeps moving and I'm not bored. And I just loved everything about it.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so awesome. It's like the first half, it's just my nightmare, which is a man gaslighting me.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we're
right?
supposed to be. We're supposed to be. And I mean, as women, like we can all like relate to that. Like we've had that sometime in our life, and hopefully you haven't had that in your life. But oh man, it's absolutely brutal. But then it also feels satisfying when the two main gals turn on them and start like, you know what, we're gonna go crazy, and you start rooting for them, which is you're like, you know,
Because
you
they're
obviously
bad guys too, but you're still rooting for them. You're like, yeah,
like
kill those motherfuckers.
you're like, yeah, kill them, but also you're gonna get caught, but also that's not my problem.
Yeah,
Not my
exactly.
problem.
No
That's not my
problem.
problem. And the greatest part of the movie is not, you know, the contractor, not his funny sidekick, not the main gals. No, no, no. It's the kid on the iPad. Listen, he's oblivious. He's just, no, sorry, not iPad, Switch. He's playing a Switch.
Yeah,
Ah, he's just,
just
I love that he's just in his world. He's like, I don't
yeah,
care. Just give me my chicken nuggets. And
yeah.
I love that. I love that.
My one of my favorite cutaways is the women are doing yoga, and then he's in the pool. I was like, and I know it was just, I was like, I hope this works. I was like, hey, let's just throw him on a raft in the middle with floaties on. I was like, it'll be really funny, and just like cut to that wide of him just doing his thing. I just love that cutaway.
It's just so like it's so, like those little things in movies where you're like, okay, obviously we have this big stuff, like the big, you know, murder fight scenes are fun, but like having like a weird side character like that is just so enjoyable, and like to throw that in every once in a
Yeah,
while is just great comedic relief. Great job with that, and
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with him.
so fun. When it came time to direct the movie, what were some of your inspirations?
Yeah, I looked a lot at again, just like a lot of Hitchcock stuff. I just because, especially like the movie Rope, for instance. That whole movie takes place like it's that scene basically,
Yeah.
that dinner party scene, and so just kind of seeing how the pacing is, how they move around the rooms, and just kind of how Hitchcock builds that suspense. When there's really, and he builds so much suspense with nothing, and it's just so impressive. And so that was a huge influence. Just like looking at a lot of old Hitchcock's movies of how he did that, and just kind of mimic that pacing, and just like, okay, give him a little bit, don't give him too much, but
Mhm.
let's not drag too much either. Let's just kind of find a rhythm here, and that's where like the fantasy kills really helped with that too. Whereas like if we, I feel like we didn't have that, it might just get a little too slow in the beginning. So
Mhm.
that kind of helped, I think, keep the audience engaged.
I agree. I totally agree. It would have been a completely different, you know, first half without those fantasy kills. So I think that was a good choice and so fun. So because
Yeah.
the first one you're like, oh shit, she's murdering them. Amazing. Then you're like, wait, oh no, that's what she wants to do. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
we've all had those moments where we're like, what if I just punch this person right now? What if I just, you're like, no, I'm not going to. But what if I did? But then she does. It's,
Yeah. Break some glass. Yeah. Break up the violin.
yeah, a little female rage. We love that. We love that.
Yeah.
Um, Now, going into you, I obviously scoured your IMDb. You
Oh,
have done almost every single role possible um, in the industry. Uh, Good for you.
yeah.
Amazing. You know,
I've been trying to, yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Keep going.
no,
Sorry. I've
you're
done a
good.
lot.
You're good. You wore a lot of hats. What has been your favorite role to have, and what has been your least favorite role, and what role has prepared you the most to direct?
Yeah. My favorite, I mean, obviously directing is my favorite
Oh yeah,
role.
for sure.
Yeah, that's my favorite. My least favorite would actually be accounting. I have a big background in account. Oh, my light just died. Sorry. I have a big background in accounting for films. I'm not a real accountant at all. Like I still have someone else doing my taxes. But when I first started out, I was interviewing for a PA job, and the person's like, "So what do you want to do eventually?" I said, "Oh, I want to get into producing, directing, whatever." And directing, obviously, that's a long shot if that ever happens. But producing, like, well, if you want to be a good producer, understand accounting, get into that side. And like, we're hiring a clerk right now, which is like the accounting PA. So I went and did that. And so I went over an interview for that instead and got it. And I ended up doing that for like 10 plus years.
Oh,
And I hated every minute of it. And even like halfway through it, I even talked, there's another producer that was looking for an assistant. And that I knew, and I kind of reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, I'm looking to get out of accounting now, and just kind of hope get back to producing." And I mean, this was the producer on Zoolander too, and he like calls me right up. He's like, "Hey, why do you want to leave accounting?" I was like, "I just want to get into producing." And he's like, "Well, he's like, stay in accounting." He's like, keep rising up." He's like, "That's going to be the best thing ever for producing."
oh,
And so I was like, "All right." So I did like another 5, 6, 7 years, and then I finally had enough experience where then like all of a sudden like everyone's like, "Oh, you want to line produce? Great, you have all the right experience. Great." And then like all of a sudden like just all these doors opened, and I just could, I
oh,
like I'm still in shock. So I hated every minute of it, but it paid off tenfold. And then so that opened up to the producing, which I love doing, which then got me in contact with the companies then where I could start pitching to direct, which then they trusted me since they're like, oh, well, these are low budget movies. Can you stay on budget? I'm like, well, that's all I do is stay on budget as a producer. So yeah. And so, yeah, so it's kind of, they all kind of led to directing eventually.
Wow.
But
That's
yeah, a long journey to get there, but
that's
made
amazing.
it.
I commend you. I don't know if I could do accounting for that
Yeah.
long. I was a PA and then, the whole set life. I love the set life, but I'm also a stand-up comedian and
Yeah.
I needed a little bit more stability, but
Right.
I do that on the side,
Yeah.
we still dabble. We're not in like the big productions. We're in like indie ones that are like, okay, we're gonna do 3 overnights from Friday to Sunday. Let's do this. And then get
Great.
back.
Have fun. Yeah.
It'll be great. And that's the life I'm living. But
Yeah.
it's all part of the craft. It's all
All,
a part of the craft. And we love that. We love that. So Clawfoot, which also I have a friend who's in a movie called Clawface. And I was like,
oh,
Clawfoot. I was like, I'm gonna probably review one called Claw Arm. That doesn't exist, but
right.
right? And I was like,
Yeah.
I get it. I get
There
it.
you go.
I was like,
You got them all down. Yeah.
I was
Claw
like,
leg.
all the claws, all the claws.
All the claws. That's your next movie. All the claws. I love that.
All the
Actually.
claws, all the claws. The sequel to Clawfoot,
Yeah.
Clawfoots. If you could change anything about the movie, because I know we are perfectionists.
Yeah.
Nothing, even, the final cut, you're like, ah, but if we could have gotten this one take a little longer, I didn't
Yeah.
like their face in this, but this take was better. If you could change anything or do anything different, what would you do?
Yeah. The biggest thing for me that just drives me crazy is the I guess I feel like it gets a little confusing with the money laundering and like what yeah, it's like, and we tried to fix that the day of and like the nights before we were like trying to like work on a script and just trying to update the dialogues like but it's like is he like money laundering like or like the construction like the Leo character
Yeah.
like there was a little confusion I think how it was presented and I just wish that like it was a little it made sense a little more as to Leo's connection to the whole thing. I'd say like that's the one part I feel like we could have made that a little stronger as to like his connection to Evan and what dealings they had going on and what was really going on like behind the scenes with those two. I think is one of many. That's
Yeah. Oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then also like the delivery. I love the delivery driver in the end. We needed something to cut us out of the house. We needed a breather. We needed something just to kind of break us up. I forget why specifically. And so we had that, and the script was written. It made more sense the way it was written, but then the way it was shot and put together. I'm also like, he just kind of comes out of nowhere. All of a sudden, there's a delivery driver that would cut to driving, and we make it fun with the daughter on the phone and stuff. And then in the end, like he's not seeing the killing happening outside the window. But again, that was another thing. It was written better than executed, I'd say.
Well, for the next time. When you
Yeah.
talk this stuff, it's like every film teaches you something. Every time you do it, you get better and better and better. But that's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
also part of its charm. You're like,
We're all just students here,
This part was a little wonky, but like, hey, the rest of it's pretty good. It's shot well. Everybody looks good. Everybody did really good job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
his performance of the delivery driver, hilarious, simple, effective.
Yeah, he's so funny. I love him. He's a friend of mine too, and I've done a couple of things with him, and he's so funny. He's hilarious.
That's
That
amazing.
guy.
How much was anything improvised or was it all scripted pretty much?
No, yeah, I'm a big fan of improvisation, like improv and letting that happen. But like for some reason, like they just got to, like the cast all knew all the lines like perfectly, and it all just worked perfectly. Where like none of it was improvised. It was all like, I mean, to the T. Like they just had it all down, and like you could probably read the script and watch it, and it just sync up exactly. Like
That's awesome.
but that's just how well it was written. April just did such a great job with the script. But yeah, like, I mean, in most cases, I'm usually like, hey, let's have some fun with this scene and let's let it play out. But this one just felt, like this one was just so structured, I guess, and it worked so well.
Yeah. Oh, April, bravo, April. So now we're gonna get to more fun, random questions that I have for you now about horror movies because that's what this pod is about. What is your favorite horror movie or favorite horror movies? Because I know you usually can't pick one. And then what was the first horror movie that scared you?
Ooh, okay. Well, I'll do the first horror movie that ever scared me. I don't even remember what it was about the Tooth Fairy or something.
Okay.
And I don't even, it was so young. I don't even remember. Like, I just remember it being about a tooth fairy that was like haunting this little town, and it just scared the shit out of me. I was like, I don't know. So yeah, I don't even remember. But then like the next one I remember would be like Signs.
Okay.
And that one only because I grew up out in the country and literally I saw that like it was in the fall time and I'm just surrounded by cornfields. So going home that night was terrifying. I was like, oh my God, after going to that movie. That one just really just like, I don't know, which again, like that's not like a horror movie. I don't even know, like, but
Oh, but it's creepy. And like it's also it's almost like horror movies. Other genres are often scarier than horror movies, especially like kids horror. Those
yeah.
terrifying for no reason. Like they're like rated PG, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, why is this scarier than Saw for some reason? You know?
And they're for kids. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Like I'll see stuff like my nieces and nephews are watching. I'm like, what is this?
Like this is terrifying. I love it, but I'm scared, and I'm an adult. Like that's Like, how are you not?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Signs scared you. What are your favorites?
Oh man, my favorite, like that's a good question. Like there's always like the classics, like like Friday the 13th or like Halloween. Like I remember watching. I remember I went to like a haunted house,
Mhm.
and what was it? And like they had it playing. I never saw it. It was just playing on TV while we were in line. And then I remember back and watched it, and I was like, I just fell in love with it. I was like, and like I like that was like the first one, and yeah. So yeah, like that was another cool one. Yeah, like that was a cool experience. Seeing that just because like I mean it was Halloween. I was at a yeah, I'm losing my train of thought here. Sorry. But yeah, like I like those classic ones that were just like, just like the serial killers. That's just like stalking people. Like I don't know, there's something about that that's really fun. And like, another one that like more modern one, like It Follows. That one, I don't know. I'm like, that is the simplest, brilliant idea I've ever seen. Like, and it just executed so well. I'm like, that's just, I don't know. I love it.
It's so creepy. And the soundtrack. Oh,
Yeah.
the score is amazing, and the score in this film so fun. I
Yeah. Oh,
usually
I love the score. Yeah.
usually don't pay attention, and I think in the beginning I was like, "Go back, hold on." Like I went back like 30 seconds, and I was like,
Like, what's that instrument?
oh, fun. This is kind of fun. Like I feel like the main character, is in the kitchen or something, and it's like it's like it almost feels like a little
A
like
little bouncy, like a little samba style or
you're just
something.
like I think she's realizing they're like drilling. She's like, "What's that?" But it just was a little moment, and I was like, I like that. Like it's just silly, and I appreciate that because also silly horror is it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fun,
And
and
that's
then
one thing. Yeah, I really want something because those things like this space, everyone has their own take on the space, and especially like low budget contained, whatever genre you want to put this in. And I was like, how do I stand out? How do I make this different? Because like there's just so many that flood the market every year. And so that's why I was like, instead of leaning into the indie look, I mean, like, why don't I make this look shiny and like, flashy? Like, let's make this look like a studio movie instead, and like well lit, all the things like that. So like let's do that instead of leaning into the indie, lighting and low light and just like instead of living in that space, let's live in the light,
yeah.
And then, with the music, same. I was like, and then I was just watching White Lotus and Thoroughbreds, and like they had that samba style music that I was like, that's the music this needs. I was like, just something that's does not belong here. I was like, I remember telling the composer that I sent it to him, and he read the script. He's like, Mike, I don't know that this is going to work.
Yeah,
And I was like, no, I think it will. I was like, let's just do it.
Just hear me out, and if it's
Yeah.
wrong, it's wrong. But
And
let's
he's
try
like,
it.
yeah. And he's like, well, I don't even know this style. He's like, do you want to find a different composer? And I used him on another. I was like, no, I want you to do it. I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, well, I'll try it. And then like a couple days later, he's like, Mike, I got it. This is awesome. And then he started sending me clips, and he just fell in love with it too.
That's amazing. See, everything works out. You're like, dear, I know it sounds crazy. Let's try it. And if it doesn't work, fine. But trust me, I think you
Yeah.
got it. And you do. It was so fun, so silly. And speaking of silly, this is the silliest question that I ask on all of my podcasts, all of my interviews.
Yeah.
and it's a pun on the title. Do you think audiences will be afraidy or not afraidy of Clawfoot?
Ooh, yeah, no, I don't think they'll be afraid, but I think it'll be a fun ride. There's just some gross moments and stuff, but it's nothing that there's no jump scare. But yeah, it's a fun ride though.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I don't think it's an afraidy movie. I think it's a fun movie that you sit down, you watch with some friends, and you're like, wait, just wait. It gets crazy in the second. First half, you're gonna be really frustrated because you're like, man, just get this man out of here.
Yeah, fuck this guy.
Which is exactly what you want. It's exactly what you planned for. So thank you for that reaction it got out of me.
Amazing.
The best. Where are people able to watch Clawfoot?
Yeah, so it's available on all platforms where you can buy or rent, from like Apple, Google, Amazon, like Spectrum, AT&T, any of those platforms where you can pay to buy it or rent it right now, and even YouTube. And then eventually it'll make its way to a streamer platform like a Hulu or something. So,
yay! It
yeah,
was wonderful. I had an absolute blast watching it. Thank you so much for talking with me today. Good luck on the rest of your interviews, on everything else. Clawfoot was a success, and congratulations, you made a movie. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Of course. And we will see you. I always say we'll see you on the next one. You know, when you're on set, we'll see you on the next one.
I'll see you on the next one. Yeah.
See you on the next one.
Exactly. I'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, Katie. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Michael is an absolute delight. I had so much fun. Go see Clawfoot. It's so fun. It's such a fun movie. Please go see it, and also please like, subscribe, all that jazz. Katie Afraidy. All social media platforms. Find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, Reddit sometimes. I don't know, Tumblr. But anyways, it is spooky season, which means it's time for the 31 Days of Horror. So if you're into that and want to join in, all you have to do is watch 31 movies all of October. But not just any movies that you've never seen before. Make your own list. Let's do it together. And thank you to our sponsors at Filmcraft Studio Gear. You can find them at Filmcraft LA on Instagram or filmcraftla.com. And you can also find Fangoria at fangoria.com. And for a copy of Fangoria, use code Katie Afraidy for 25% off. So exciting. And guys, we'll see you next time. Stay spooky.
Let's get a drink.
Have you ever done this before?
No, but it can't be that difficult if so many men allegedly do it.
Anything they can do,
We can do better.